Up. Welcome. Bienvenidos. ¿Qué es la que hay? Assalamu alaikum. Guten Tag. Good afternoon. It's lit. Hold on real fast. Fun fact. There's motorcycles outside. Another fun fact. I'll be making up the numbers in the title. So I don't actually know if this is live stream number 11. But the last one said number 10. So I'm assuming that's true. But I probably made up the last one when I said number 10. So what's actually true? I don't know. The fact is that I'm live streaming. Is this number 11? Doesn't really matter. It looks good to say that this is number 11. My dog, Phil's here. What's popping, bro? Let me bring this up on the laptop so I can see the chat. Got your last run in until when? You about to test? I can't remember. When's your 5K? Oh, Saturday game day. Okay. What you expecting, man? Don't tell me no weak ass shit like 28 or something either, bro. Come on, man. What are we expecting, man? What are we expecting? I'm waiting for a good answer. Can't spell good. Got here early this time. Let's go. You are very early. Not even 2 minutes in. That's an accomplishment. Most people don't get here until like 30 minutes. I'll probably be on here for I'd say an hour to 2 hours tonight. I got time. My wife's at work. So those are the good days for me to stream. Course doesn't have that many hills. If I'm in a good part of the crowd, 25. Ooh, if I run a perfect race, 23:45. All right, I can accept the 23 mindset. I can accept that. I'd like to see that. Don't come don't come in my messages with no excuses, bro. Like, oh, it's way more hilly than I expected and there was dogs in the way and I couldn't get past the people, so I ran 27. I don't want to hear that, bro. 29. If you're running 29, I'm just not gonna message back, bro. Like, I don't even care what your excuse is. I'm just gonna like just double tap like on the message. Like, all right, it's cool. I'm gonna talk about, bro. I think I can run a 29 today, bro. Maybe. I say that, but I don't be running 5Ks no more. So probably actually start running and be like, ooh, never mind. I'm getting at the age where I only run if someone's chasing me. It's not good, man. You gotta keep running, man. You gotta stay in shape. Look, at some point in time in history, people had to farm. People had to work outside all day. If you actually look at centennial villages, like villages where people routinely live past 100, they're always farmers, man. Because you're outside, you're working, you have a purpose. Sometimes you gotta run, sometimes you gotta live, sometimes you gotta do a little bit of everything. All right, walking's cool. All right, that's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that. No, walking's fine. You don't actually have to run. Running is good, especially sprinting, but running can get hard on the joints. But what I would say is that if you do things the right way, running itself isn't going to be hard on your joints. Because, like I said, it's a pretty natural thing to do. But I think the problem is that people ran at some point in their life, and when they start running again, they think about that last time they ran. So they're like, yeah, I can run 3 miles today, and they run that, and it's too much for the time that they're trying to do it. So, uh, progression, slow progression is always the best way. Same thing as lifting or anything else. Like, Doesn't really matter what you did in the past. It matters like what can you do today without destroying your body. So, but walking is good. Walking is a very, very underrated form of exercise. I would say very underrated. The chat says 6 people are in here, but I don't know who they are. We got Phil and Can't Spell Good, which is a hilarious name, by the way, especially because you spell wrong, which obviously was intentional. I hope. Hilarious. Sam says 6 on my side. Yeah, I never know if like the metric is just like lying or if people are just watching real quiet. But I remember last time I asked people why they watch and don't say anything, and a couple people said like, "Oh, sometimes I watch it or I listen to it while I'm driving or I listen to it while I'm blah blah blah." So somebody might be washing dishes or something, and they can't actually respond, and so they're just listening. So that's cool. I just find it weird when there's like so many more people than people are talking. That's why. Okay, see, Charlie just confirmed that. He's here, but he's listening because he's working late. That's fair. Hope you're doing well, my friend. And don't get too distracted because you need to make sure that you're 5 star on your job, all right? Don't get a bad customer review because of me, because I'm not gonna stick up for you. Yeah, yeah, that guy should not have been listening to me while he was working. Phil says, "Are you older than me?" He might be. That dude might be older than you. I don't actually know who that is. I mean, I know who it is from here, but I don't know who it is in real life. We don't know how old he is. Can't spell good. How old are you, roughly, if you don't want to say your actual age? And that's assuming that he's still here. That's the other thing too. Like anyone can pop in and out of here, so I never know who's in here at any point in time. So turning 55 in July. Make sure we tell you happy birthday in July. That's cool, man. 55 is pretty young. I'm not gonna tell you how old my parents are, cause then you're probably gonna look at me like a little kid. But my parents are around that age. They're up there. They're up there. I just noticed that YouTube allows me to voice text without what? Voice text without from behind in the video. I'm gonna pretend like I know what that means. I'm guessing you're saying that YouTube will allow you to voice text while you're watching a video. Good on you for walking. Yeah, facts. Very good on you. Because, like I said, in this country, in this time, in this day, people do not work out. It's pretty sad, actually. But it's hard. It's hard. People work all day, man, and I get it. It's not easy. Like I said, in those centennial villages, you're a farmer. Like, you don't have a choice. Like, that's what your family does. You're outside, you're farming. Like, you're needed. We need you out here, grandpa, or great grandpa, whoever you are. We need you out here helping. And because of that, they stay in shape and they live long. But in this country, I'm not gonna say it doesn't benefit you, but it's hard to get that exercise in. If you work from sun up to sundown, when you get home, man, you just want to go to sleep. And if you're not working, whatever, that's different. But like I said, it's tough to get exercise in this country. And even if you do get exercise in, a lot of times, like, I'm not saying that exercise is worthless, but if you sat at a desk for 10 to 12 hours and you do 30 minutes of activity, that does not cancel out your 12 hours of sitting. It's good. It's better than nothing. But like we sit all day doing nothing. And we do a little 30 minutes and it's like, I worked out hard. Let me go lay down for another 10 hours. Whereas in other places, they walk to work, they walk home, they walk in between that time. They might not even be sitting down at work. So it's a lot more activity. Cheers. My mom turned 62 this year, didn't even realize that. I'm lucky I like working with my hands and building stuff. Yeah, man, that's the way to go right there, man. Just have a purpose, stay active. That's why my mom doesn't hire anyone to do anything, all physical labor. Nah, that's good. It's good. Yeah, if you can do stuff yourself, you should. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I do everything myself, but I also work out and I do a lot of other stuff. So, you know, car stuff, I'm definitely hiring someone for car stuff, but regular small tasks, I'm like, I could do that. I can do that. Oh, she does hire someone as me. That's funny. Yeah, like I said, that's good, man. It's good to stay active. Move when you can, cause just like I said, here slowly over time, you do less and less and less and less until you're just doing nothing, man. Just sitting on the porch, watching other people do stuff, and then you're dead. She gets some of that cheap labor. Yeah, I was about to say, if my mom asked me to do anything, she would not be hiring me. She would just be telling me to do it. So, if your mom's paying you something, she's a good person. But I'm guessing she doesn't pay you. I'm guessing your payment is being alive. That's funny. Phil, what'd you do today, bro? Oh yeah, she said I was born. Yep, yep. That's exactly what my mom says. My mom always says I owe her X amount of money, and it's just some random number, and she's just like, all the money I gave you when you were a kid, all the stuff I bought you, all the blah blah blah. She's like, you probably owe me at least $100,000. So, yeah. My mom pays me with a nice meal and sometimes a beer or two. Hey, that's nice. That's a good payment. I have a 3 day a week workout routine that I've really been consistent with now for about 2 months. I'm keeping track of them with the Heavy app. Let me go ahead and Google that. I've actually never heard of that. Let's see. Heavy. Why is it called Heavy? Heavy. Heavy workout tracker and planner. Okay. How to use Heavy. Looking into it right now. Fully customize your routines. Charlie, do you make the routines or does it like auto generate something based on what you tell it and then you just follow it? I'm reading about it right now, but I don't really know what it is, so I gotta do a lot of reading. Seeing pictures though. Seeing. Measure your progress. Train the community. More than 1 million people are unhappy. Okay, they got some splits on here that you can choose. 4-day split, 5-day split, upper lower split, push pull legs, bro split. Mm. It's good, man. Like I always said, man, the most important thing is consistency, right? So if you're doing something that you feel like you can keep doing, like really think long term. Really think, could I do this the rest of my life or more? If you don't think you can, you're probably doing too much. If you think you can, that's good. That's why I like walking. If you ask someone, can you walk for 15 minutes every day for the rest of your life or 3 times a week the rest of your life, whatever, they'll say yeah, which is good because like if you backtrack from what you're doing, that's bad. Like you always want to be able to keep doing what you're doing. Just going backwards is bad for the most part. Obviously, like if you're like some elite level competitor or something, you're just not gonna be able to keep doing that forever. But for regular people, fitness is your goal, not winning. Like your health is important. So backtracking when you're talking about fitness and health, not a good thing. Started with a 3-day split, but I made my routine for the equipment that I have in my garage. I can live stream one of my workouts so you can check it out. Yeah, man, just let me know. I'll subscribe to your channel so I see most of your stuff that pops up. But I might, if I miss it, just comment my name in it, mention my name, or on a stream like this, just be like, hey, did you see my workout? And I will definitely tell you if I did or not. I didn't watch it yet. I saw a video pop up today of you speaking Spanish with, was it Venezuelan or Colombian? I can't remember. I just remember seeing the colors on the flag, and I was like, okay, I gotta put that on my watch later because I was doing something. So, but I want to say that it was a Venezuelan person. It's like a couple days ago, but it popped up on my thing today. So, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I'll check that out whenever it pops up, for sure. What else should we talk about, guys? I like talking about fitness. Planet Moolah! Hey! Long time no see. Not your fault, my fault. Because I haven't been fucking getting on YouTube Live, so. But really, I only get on here when my wife goes to work. I think I probably told y'all that before. Like, I'd be bored up in the house, so I'm like, okay, I'll get on here. So usually, probably from Saturday to Wednesday, I probably don't get on here. It's usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Speaking of which, Planet Moolah, this will interest you. Maybe it'll interest Charlie. Don't know. But tomorrow, I'll be doing a joint live with Carlos Crazy. He's a guy from Colombia that teaches English, but he's a native Spanish speaker. So that live will probably be like 60% in Spanish because he teaches English and Spanish. So I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about, but it will be an opportunity for you to get on and chat with someone that's a real native Spanish speaker, not me, and it's free. It's a live stream, so you won't have to pay. You can ask him questions if you want. You can ask me questions and whatever. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly what we're going to be talking about. I actually don't really know what our intention is, actually. Whenever I texted him today, I'm like, do you have an idea of what we're going to be talking about? And he said we can talk about a little bit of everything. So I'm not 100% sure what that means, So Carlos, if you're watching this, or if you end up watching this, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. So, what's the best three dumbbell chest workouts to build bigger chest? There's no best. There only just is. Like everything. At the end of the day, everything is pushing, pulling, hinging, squatting, right? So whether you're doing like Romanian deadlifts or deadlifts, you're still hinging. Whether you're doing incline dumbbell, decline dumbbell, you're just pushing. Like people like try to make it more fancy than what it is, but you're just pushing. You do push-ups, you do bench press, you're doing the exact same shit. No matter what anyone tells you. One is more weighted, if you can put more weight on it, but it's the same motion. Like when I sit up on the bench, I do this. When I do push-ups, I do this. It's the same thing. So there's no three best. The best thing is that you do an exercise and there's progression over time. If I do 3 sets of 5 push-ups today, next week I want to try to do 4 sets of 5. Or I want to try to do 3 sets of 6. Or 2 sets of 5 and 1 set of 6, right? So 3 sets of 5, 15 reps in total. Next week, I want to try to do 16 reps in total. The week after that, I want to try to do 17 reps in total, minimum, because that progression over time is what makes the adaptation. It drives the growth. Your body's saying, okay, something is happening. He's taking steps up. We need to get stronger. We need to develop more muscle to be able to handle this progression forward, right? So everything is progression over time. Carlos is awesome, and he's been putting a lot of work into his videos lately. You can actually learn a lot of Spanish from him, just from him teaching English. You know what? I always tell people, like, that's the easiest way to learn more Spanish. Like, literally, I get on TikTok, and I drop into these English classes, and you will learn so much from watching people learn English. Because, let me try to think of a way to explain this. You see their way of talking because they'll say, oh, well, Americans say this, which is different than the way we say this. And then you go, okay, so I should say this then, because you just told me the way that y'all say it instead of the way that I would have said it. A good example of that is like ordering food, right? So in English, you say, can I have, or I would like, you say that, like, hey, can I have this? But like in Spanish, you don't. If you do a direct translation, you're gonna sound awkward. They don't say that. It's like way more direct in Spanish. Like dame or me das. Like give me this. You can put por favor at the end. That's polite still, but you don't say like oh puedo tener blah blah blah. Like this doesn't work. You can do it. Someone would know what you're talking about. They'll be like, that's weird. But I would say it's the equivalent of the reverse. If you in English say, you give me a hamburger, they're gonna be like, what the are you talking to, bro? Like they're gonna know what you mean, but it's like, why'd you say it like that? I mean, if you have an accent, they're just gonna be like, this guy doesn't know the rules of our language. They're not gonna beat you up over it, but it's gonna be not natural, right? So I just started working out again Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but only doing weights for 20 minutes, doing 3 sets of each with increasing weights between sets. That's the way I used to do it back in the day. It's still good. Yeah, like I said, any given session doesn't matter so much. It's more about what you do over time. Is it sustainable? Can you keep progressing? Eventually, like with anything, you're gonna have to kind of remix it, right? You can't just like put 5 pounds on every week forever. But whenever you can add weight, you can stretch it out. If you start at 100 pounds on bench press and you kept adding 5 pounds every week with the same rep scheme, you get to 200, you get stuck. Instead of doing 3 sets of 3, I'm gonna do 3 sets of 4. Or I'm gonna do 4 sets of 3, whatever. You increase that volume, start doing this. Once you can do 3 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8, 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 10, you'll be like, you know what, I can do 205. And then you start doing weight again. Just keep doing that forever. I just don't feel like my chest muscles are working when I'm doing the dumbbell press. Okay, 2 things. Your form might be garbage. That's not me trying to be funny. A lot of people have terrible form, so it's a very real possibility. If your elbows are like this, you're probably not gonna feel anything in your chest. Feel it all in your shoulders. So I like every football player in the world is like, I used to bench 500 pounds, but now none of my muscles in my shoulders work, and if I touch anything, my shoulders fall off. So that's possible. But the other thing is too that you don't have to feel something working for it to be working, if that makes sense. Like, let me think of a good example. When people tell me they feel their lower back when they're deadlifting, it's halfway alarming, right? I don't feel my lower back when I'm deadlifting, but I know that my lower back is getting stronger because, like, my back is lifting 750 pounds, right? But if you feel your lower back, I'm going to say, depending on how much you're feeling it, you might be doing it very wrong. Same thing with bench press or dumbbell bench or whatever. I'm not like doing it and I'm like, my chest, like, because everything's working as a unit. Like my triceps are working, my shoulders are working, my anterior delts, my chest, all of that stuff's working together. So like, unless I'm like literally squeezing my chest and holding it at a certain angle, like neutrally, and squeezing it in as I press, I'm not gonna feel like some extreme stuff in my chest. It's just I know my chest muscles are working because I'm doing a pushing motion. Like that's literally how your body works. So unless I was doing a pec fly or something, which I never do because why? I wouldn't feel my chest. But I have a big chest because I've bench pressed 420 pounds and I weigh like 220 pounds. So I'm not gonna have a small chest. Hey, I have not seen you here in a minute. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? Okay. Yeah, no problem. Can't spell good. I've never felt my chest. I never felt my chest muscle sore. That's why I'm wondering if anything is happening. Like I said, man, if you're doing a pushing motion, so neutral grip, dumbbell bench press, incline. Even, okay, so when you go overhead, it's a lot less of your chest. But even when you go overhead, your chest muscles are still working because you're pushing. Anytime you push something, your chest muscles work. The closer you are to here, the more they're working. When you get up here, it's all of this. Your upper back muscles too, but still, if you're pushing, your chest muscles are working. So you don't have to necessarily feel it. Also, soreness is not an indicator of progress. Usually, soreness is an indication that you, how should I say this, kind of went outside of your limits at that time. A good example would be this. I do cardio all the time. Actually, let's use boxing. I hit the bag all the time, right? 15 rounds, 3-minute rounds, blah, blah, blah. I did that yesterday. My shoulders don't feel like anything. Now, if I did twice as much work, if I did 30 rounds, or maybe if I did like the same 15 rounds, but in between the rounds, I get on the ground and I do push ups until the round's over and get back on the back. The next day, my shoulders might be sore. But like, bro, I'm not even joking. I can't tell you the last time I've been sore, like doing anything, because I work out so much and I work out my entire body, and I'm very smart about my training, so I don't extend past my limits, because like I said, I'm always thinking long term. I'm always thinking like, I'm gonna have to do a lot more than this in 4 weeks. I don't want to be broken so that I can't complete the work that my coach gives me. So, uh, maybe Phil can speak on this because he's gotten into running. And he just commented, actually, yeah, I'm just kind of a level of tired now, never sore. So, yeah, great example. Phil's a former athlete. He played Division I football. He was a national level Olympic weightlifter. Same kind of thing. It's like, yeah, you just don't extend. And Axa's in here now. Maybe Axa can give her commentary. Axa, we're talking about soreness, and we're just saying that we do stuff so much and we don't extend way past what we can do to the point that we don't get sore. You have to do something new, which is like automatically outside of your limits, right? Because you don't do it. Or you have to go way past what you're normally doing. So Axa is a kind of former wrestler. She still kind of wrestles a little bit. But now she does jujitsu. Maybe when she first started doing jujitsu, she would get sore. But I bet you jujitsu doesn't make her sore anymore when she's regularly training. I bet you wrestling doesn't make her sore. She'll have to do something weird that she doesn't normally do. Or after a competition, actually, that's a good example. Because after I do comps, I'm I usually feel more than I feel from my training, just because like I literally try to lift a weight that I've never lifted before, or I've done like, let's just say let's just say the most I can lift is 370 pounds in this lift. And like in training, I would have only tried to do that one time, if I even tried to do it. Whereas like on competition day, I might try to do that exact same weight 3 times in a row. So 3 times versus no times or one time, like 3 times as much work. Like I'm gonna wake up the next day like, oh shit, my traps are like my hip flexors or something like that. So genetics does play a role. My muscles get bigger fast if I train, but my best friend is different. He's strong, doesn't get big. Yeah, I mean genetics are a factor in anything, but if you guys weren't doing the exact same thing and eating the exact same thing, then you couldn't actually put it down to genetics, because like like as far as getting bigger goes and growing muscles, if you don't eat, you don't grow, which is why you can be a 118-pound weightlifter. There's a bunch of lower classes in wrestling, boxing, weightlifting, whatever. Which is what I always tell people when they're like, "Well, I don't want to get bulky." I'm like, look at the 132-pound class in weightlifting. These dudes are putting 400 pounds over their head, and they still weigh 132 pounds. So clearly, weights alone will not turn you into a 300-pound guy. You have to eat enough food. You have to eat more than enough food to get bigger. So, eating is important. Yeah, those smaller guys, they are strong. It's a little weird though, because I don't want to disrespect anybody, but they don't do it for me, man. Like watching 130-pound dudes lift weights that guys my size can lift, it's impressive. You're like, I know this is impressive because this dude weighs 130 pounds. But watching the guy that weighs 200 pounds or weighs 250 pounds lift like 500 pounds over his head or 550 pounds over his head, you're like, bro, I can't even imagine holding that much weight over my head. I can't imagine holding 400 pounds over my head because I've done it before. So, yeah, yeah, Pocket Hercules is the only one I can watch. I agree with that. He's a god. So, but to Phil's point, this guy, if you see what he says, lifted 420 pounds over his head at a body weight of 60 kg, which is like 132 pounds. The guys today, they don't lift quite as much. Was that dude on the max amount of steroids? That's not important. What's important is that he was lifting that much weight over his head, and it was awesome. A good example would be I just joined Orange Theory Fitness, which is basically like hit with treadmills, rowers, and dumbbells. She did not complete that thought, but I'm guessing that okay, yeah, she did a hike this week for the first time in forever, and her butt was sore for the next day because it's new, exactly. But like I said, she's a super, super, super high level wrestler, um, and a high level jujitsu practitioner, and that stuff wouldn't make her sore. But walking up a mountain like this, casually, probably having conversations, made her butt sore the next day because it's something that she doesn't do. So, was I ever skinny? Bro, yeah, you know nothing about me. My entire life, I was about 150 pounds or less until I was 22 years old because I was a runner. I was a Division 1 runner. I can't put pics in the chat or else I would show you. You're gonna have to like follow me on social media or something on a different social media and look at like my pictures when I was uh, a college runner, high school runner, like and to as an example. As a matter of fact, my oldest videos on YouTube, not on this channel, on my old channel, but my old channel still exists, was me in college lifting weights, and I would be deadlifting. I think I deadlifted like 500 pounds or so, but at the time I still weighed 150 pounds. Like you can tell in the videos, I was skinny. Like the shirts weren't big, and they were still like I was swimming in them. So I'll be wearing Jalen's clothes from West Point. Yeah, exactly. My wife wears my clothes from college because I still have them. In my head, I'm always like, nah, I can still fit these. But then I try to put the shirts on, and I'm like, oh my god, like I can't even get this over my head, bro. So yeah, I was. I've only not been skinny for about 6 years now, 7 years, busting out the seams. Let me see. I bet you there's a way I could put pictures in the chat. I feel like there has to be. Let me see. Let's see. What is this? Oops. Playing picture in picture. That's not what I was looking for. Back to tab. Model scene. Okay. Maybe there's not a way. I overestimated YouTube. I'm gonna put that in YouTube's black box of suggestions. Like, why can I not put a picture in the live? Or maybe you can't. You know what? I'm gonna Google it just to be sure. Can I impose a picture into YouTube live? Oh, hold on. I might be able to do it. Oh no, these are talking about YouTube videos. I need YouTube live, bro. Yeah, they're stupid. There should be a way to put pictures into a YouTube live. Like I should be able to drop it into the chat or something like that. But yeah, I'm glad you believe me. Are we gonna see Skinny Temper tonight? I don't think so. I don't have a way to do it. But like I said, go look on my Facebook or something. Just type in Jaden Shabazz on Facebook, and you will see most of my pictures are probably that. I mean, I could do that. I could just pull it up on my computer and just move the, just turn the YouTube live towards the computer. I had lots of amateur boxing matches. Unless you're asking me, do I have videos of them? I'm kind of old, bro. We didn't really record stuff back then, which is crazy to think about. Like, cause everything is recorded now. So like, if someone told me that they didn't have something recorded now, it's like you're lying, bro. You're lying because people record everything. Matter of fact, I just watched this video on Twitter, and I totally fed into all the like paranoid people, like conspiracy theorists. So there was a video of a cop responding to a UFO call, and the person's like, "We got 9 foot beings in our backyard. There's two 8 foot beings. They're like 8 to 10 feet tall. They got bright eyes." And the cop shows up, and he's like, "Normally I wouldn't take this stuff seriously, but I literally just saw something shooting down from the sky. My partner saw it too. So you're telling me you saw 10 foot beings in your backyard, blah, blah, blah." And everyone's in the comments and they're like, "Oh my God, this is so scary, blah, blah, blah." And the first thing I thought was, they're lying, bro. They're lying. Like, you telling me no one pulled out their phone to record? Like, you see 10 foot beings in your backyard and you guys are just looking at them? Just no one has their phone in their hand. No one thinks, like, I'm going to record this and go viral or something like that. But then I thought, even better, besides, I'm not gonna say that they're lying. I'm gonna feed into it. So what I did was I commented on the video and I said, "Guys, don't you see? The aliens ate the family, bro." I'm like, they're way too calm. They're telling the cops we saw a 10 foot being. I'm like, they're literally just telling them in their regular voice. I'm like, if you saw a 10 foot being, wouldn't you be crying and screaming because you thought you were gonna get killed or something like that? I'm like, yo, the aliens ate the family. They're wearing their skin, or they're just shapeshifters, and they're lying. They the family's gone, and I'm like, how many other families has this happened to? And people they're responding. They're like, that's a good point. They are very calm. And the cop said he saw the UFO, and now this family is just calmly telling them that they saw. Yeah, bro, I fed right into it. I love it, bro. I love egging on conspiracy theorists because like they're gonna have their theories either way, so I might as well just have fun. It's so funny because most of my good lifts aren't recorded. Facts. Like, yeah, we just grew up in a different time, man. Like, I record a lot of stuff now, but like I said, people our age, if they say like, "Oh yeah, I did this," but it was in 2010, no one recorded it. I'm just like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." But if something happens today in 2020 plus, I'm like, you're lying, bro. Everyone records everything. People just record their families talking for no reason, bro. It's not even funny. I'm like, why'd you post this, bro? I know you were using your phone to stream, but using a computer with OBS will allow you to do all kinds of things. Yeah, Charlie, we talked about this, bro. Like, I'm the youngest non-tech person in the world. Like, I understand how tech works. Like, I could look up the stuff that you're talking about and be like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, even Carlos, like the stuff that he wants to do tomorrow, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it on StreamYard." And I'm like, bro, like, we can't just use the YouTube app. Like, why we gotta use StreamYard and do all this extra stuff, bro? We can literally go on YouTube and just click go live together. Like, they made that a feature. That he wants to use StreamYard because he likes to like change the backgrounds and he wants to put it on his different apps and stuff like that. And I'm like, it was his idea, so I'm going along with it. I'm gonna do it. But me, I like to get on the YouTube app. Bro, I opened my phone, I clicked the YouTube app, I clicked go live, and I was here, bro. That took 10 seconds. I didn't have to do anything. The problem is, all the stuff that you're talking about, if I were to start loading that stuff up, or if I were to even start thinking about loading that stuff up, I would not get on YouTube Live. I would say, you know what? It's already 8 o'clock. By the time I set that stuff up, like it's gonna be 8:30. People are gonna be sleeping. I'll just do it tomorrow, and then I would never stream. That's what would happen. That is why I do what I do. That's literally why I do what I do. In fact, like I think I talked about this before. My old channel, I stopped making videos on it because I was like, I cared and I was like trying to do stuff on it. And I would think about it and I'd be like, tomorrow. And it was like 2 years and I hadn't posted anything. So I was like, I'm gonna start a new channel. I'm gonna start making podcasts. I'm gonna start making Spanish content, fitness content, and I'm literally just gonna like post raw footage. And I was like, I'll get better as I go along, but I need to just start posting stuff. Which is why these lives are cool because I don't have to do anything. I just click them. I'm here. I got like a few 170 cleans, but like your recording capacity was trash. Yeah, facts. That's another thing too that's interesting. Like, bro, you can record any amount of anything now, but you remember like I feel like it wasn't even like 5 years ago, bro. Like if you had like 4 videos in your phone, you would try to record and it would be like storage full. And you're like, ah! And you try to delete the 4 videos and you got no videos in your phone and your phone still says storage full. And you're like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to do now, bro. But now I got a new phone like a month ago maybe. And like bro, if I wasn't so lazy, I could have got a 200. No. My phone is 256 now. I think I could have got 500. I don't even know. Maybe I am tech illiterate. But whatever it was, bro, the gigs were outrageous, bro. They were like, yeah, if you want to order it and wait till tomorrow or the next day, you can have way more space than that. And I'm like, more than 256? Like, what do you need more than 256 for? Because, like, I got a lot of videos on my phone. My iCloud storage, I got 2 terabytes that I pay for every month. It's full. I just got a video. I mean, I got a phone full of video memes, bro. 2 terabytes. I have full, bro. But anyways, the point is, literally 5 to 10 years ago, we didn't have nothing close to that, bro. Like the amount of space that I take up recording one video now, like I record 15 to 20 minute podcast videos on my phone. That shit would have never fit on my old phone. And I have multiple of those on my phone because I say like, oh, I'm gonna record this Spanish video. I'm gonna delete it after I upload it to YouTube and I forget to delete it. So whenever I do get close to my 256, I start looking through my phone. I'm like, oh, this is why I got these damn 40-minute videos on my phone. I start deleting them. But one of those videos would not have fit on my phone 5 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever. How would I do against Jake Paul on a boxing match? I'll smoke him easily. He's not actually that good. He's good when the person that he's fighting is worried about what's coming back at them. Which is like every low level boxer. This is why I always tell people if you have no boxing training, the worst boxer in the world, like that actually trains, is gonna smoke you because everyone hits the heavy bag. Everyone does all these combinations in the air, where in their mind, they're the aggressor. They're the better person. So when you're scared, when you're trying to avoid their punches, when you cover up, it's going exactly like they plan. Bah, 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 bah. Or his favorite is whoosh, bah, overhand right or a big right hand right to your face, right? But no one plans to not be the aggressor. No one plans to be the weaker person, the weaker minded person, the defensive fighter, whatever. Because that's something that comes from experience. That's something that comes from getting your ass whooped and just being like, you know what? Sometimes people are faster than you. Sometimes people are stronger than you. You're not always gonna be the most elite dude. And when you haven't trained for a long time and you're not ready for that, it ends up bad. Phil can attest to that too. We talk about that all the time. Like when you grow up playing sports, especially like in a place like Texas, like we grew up in the same town as RG3 and dudes like that. So no matter how good you are in the rest of the country, in Texas, you're mediocre, right? So you think you're good. There's a guy with 10 times your skills, 10 times your genetics, 10 times everything you have to remind you that you are a regular human being. But guys like Jake Paul, they don't have that. They don't have someone to remind them of that until they get there, which is why he lost his last match. He went up against a guy that grew up in a family of fighters that wasn't scared of him, and he whooped his ass. So I've already been through that 100 times. Because, like I said, I grew up in Texas, so everyone is the top of the top in Texas. Steffi's fighting again this weekend. Hold on, let me look it up. Who's she fighting? Steffi Cohen. Damn, first person on Google. Can't lie, I'm a little jealous. Type my name in on Google, nothing even happens. Let's see, BoxRec. She has a loss and a draw. Hold on. Bro, why do her opponents get worse, bro? She's fighting someone with a worse record than the girl that she just beat. She's fighting somebody from Mexico. Aguascalientes. Esli Cervantes. This girl lost her first fight ever. Got knocked out in her second fight. She won her third fight, but then she lost her fourth fight. And now she's fighting Steffi. Great job, Steph. You're doing great. Just keep beating up people that don't want to fight. Hold on, let me see if she at least won the fight that she won by KO. Nope, she won by split decision, so she barely won that. Bro, they're trying to. I'm not even gonna hate, bro, because. Alright, let me tell you like this. If I went pro in boxing, which I plan to, I'm gonna do at least one pro fight. I'm not gonna fight the best of the best, bro. I'm gonna fight some construction worker in Mexico that needs $500, right? And I'm gonna knock him out because that's gonna be cool for me. So I feel her, but like what they're trying to do is they need a highlight reel for her, bro, so they can actually put her like on a Jake Paul card or something like that. So they keep feeding her these people that she's supposed to knock out, but she just hasn't done it. So they're gonna keep doing it until she gets it. Planet Moolah Steffi Cohen is a world record power lifter. But yeah, like Phil just said, 25-time world record power lifter. She's like, I want to say she competed in like what was it, Phil, like 118-pound class, and she like deadlifted like 500 pounds, bro. She's stupid strong. I will give her that, bro. Like her powerlifting game, crazy. But she transitioned into being a boxer. Yeah, 118 and 123. Yeah. Yeah, and then she squats. Also, she squatted like 484 pounds or so. Like, she's dumb strong. I don't know where her bench is because it's not important, but squat and deadlift, disgusting. So, she transitioned into being a boxer because, like, COVID, we got shut down, and, like, really all people could do was, like, find something to do. And yeah, YouTube boxing. All the YouTubers fight now. They make good money and stuff. So I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, if you're a influencer, like boxing is a good bag because you might come up on 100K, 300K, 500K if you're Jake Paul or somebody, millions to fight for I don't know how many minutes, 12, 15 minutes. If you're a beginner, like and especially girls only fight for 2 minute rounds. Like just fighting all of like 8 minutes, she's gonna make a minimum couple K, 10K, 20K, 30K. So that's an easy bag, bro. If someone like if if like Eddie Hearn was on this live right now and he's like, "Yo, I need you to fight like Salt Poppy or like whoever else, 100K," I'd be like, "Yeah, bro. Like whatever weight, I'll make whatever weight, 175, 190, whatever they need me to make. I'm not gonna pass up 100K, bro. Even to my disadvantage. Like I'm like at 220 right now, bro. If they said 175 in 8 weeks or something, I'll be like, I got it. 100K, I'll be there, bro. Even if I'm like struggling to stand up on the scale and I know in the fight I'm gonna struggle to fight because I'm so weak from cutting weight, I will be there, bro. 100K. I'm not gonna pass that up. So I get it. Like I said, we're gonna keep feeding her people that she's supposed to knock out, and yeah, she gonna get money. Ain't no way you're going down to 175 in 2 months for 100K. Yes, I will, bro. Are you crazy? You only have to make weight on the scale. You don't have to be 175 on fight night. So, Phil, tell them about Alex Pereira, bro. Or in Portuguese, Alex Pereira. Tell them about Pereira. Planet Mula, you need to look up. Let me type his name. He deserves respect. Oops. Pereira. Pereira. Take care, y'all. Just got home. All right, Charlie. I appreciate you dropping in, bro. See you later. And like I said, if you make that live stream working out, I will check it out and let you know what I think. Yep, 240 outside camp, 185 on the scales. So, Planet Mula, imagine this. Alex Pereira he's a big dude, bro. He's bigger than me. And he weighs in at 185 for his fights. Fight night, he's back up to 215, 220. Yeah, he cut all of that in 6 weeks, bro. 240 to 185. Most people underestimate the amount of water that's in your system. I know you remember all those pictures when we were kids where they're like, your body is 70% water. It is, bro. So you can dehydrate yourself quite a bit to get to a certain weight for 30 seconds and then drink water and whatever else to get back to where you want to be. Are you going to be as strong? No, not even close. Are you more susceptible to being knocked out? Yes. But you will get paid. Would I have to deal with memes of me? Like, oh, this guy talks all this shit on Twitter, but he got beat up by an influencer. Yeah, I'll have to deal with that. I personally still think I would win against pretty much anybody if I had to cut all of that weight. But, you know, everyone thinks that until they get beat up. So I'm pretty realistic. I boxed for a long time. Even now, when I spar people, like, the only people that think that they can't lose are really just like young people. There's a lot of undefeated youngsters that like started boxing when they were young, so they're always a notch above everybody until they meet the other dude that's a notch above everybody. And neither one of them thinks they could lose, and one of them gets knocked out, and like they're like, I've never lost before. I don't know what happened. For reference, John Jones said he walked around at 220 to cut to 205. Yeah, 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 yeah. Weight cutting, man. People don't even know how much those dudes weight cut, man. You can literally go on YouTube and just Type in whatever fighter, Amanda Nunes, all of these people, Masvidal. I remember he had a video out when he was cutting weight, and like just watching these dudes in hot tubs and towels, like shaking and crying, and like you can lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time, bro. It was 250, and it took him 3 years to get there. Yeah, but yeah. Point is, point is, I could definitely make 175 for a weigh-in. Would it be comfortable? Mm-mm. But if you think about it this way, people do a lot of stuff for money. But people go to work and they're uncomfortable at work and they sit there for 8 hours every day for all year and they still don't make 100K. So if you're telling me I gotta be uncomfortable for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks to get 100K, absolutely. Even if I had to starve for 2 of those weeks, bro. Even if I cried in my room, I would do it because it's 100K. You ain't gonna feel good, but you could. The more muscle you have, the more water you can lose. Exactly. Uh, Paulo Costa, same thing. Dude walks around 220, 230, 185 shredded. Yep, and bodybuilders, yeah, facts. No fat or water in their system, but they be about to fall over walking, So yeah, the body is it's capable of a lot, man. A lot more than people think. Now, what is a completely different topic is I actually don't agree with weight cutting, like almost in any form. Like I wish that all of professional fighting was like jujitsu, where like you need to be at your weight when you walk into the octagon. When you step through those ropes for the boxing ring, you need to be that weight. Like I don't like the 24-hour weigh-ins. Um, 2 hour weigh-ins would be cool. Did I think that Adesanya was gonna win the second fight? I'm guessing you mean the second UFC fight where he just won. No, I didn't think he was gonna win. I didn't think he had that dog in him after he had been knocked out in the UFC, after he had already been knocked out in kickboxing. I didn't expect him to fight the way that he fought. So, no, I didn't think he was going to win. I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I like Alex Pereira, and I like him more than I like Adesanya. But at the end of the day, I'm not a groupie, bro. Like, I like fighting, and I like to see people, like, effectively pull off their strategy. So, like, people that are like fans of someone are like, oh my god, like, oh, this sucks. Like, oh, he would have never got that and this and that and the other. I'm just like, yo, that was dope, bro. Like, he really bit down and made it happen, bro. So, like, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like Phil said, I never thought he was gonna lose skill wise. Like everyone knew. Like even Pereira fans. Like I consider myself a Pereira fan because I really like him. He's a humble dude, crazy power. But like, if you say that Pereira is better than Adesanya, like either you don't know shit about fighting or you're just lying to yourself. Like skill wise, totally different levels. Pereira just hits hard, bro, which is enough. It's enough to win a fight, clearly. Like it won him a fight. And it's not saying that he's unskilled. It's just like if you went like skill for skill, even if you went like speed, technicality, grappling, like all of this stuff, like probably only only in power would have that advantage. But that's enough in a lot of fights. Like if you can't avoid his power and he catches you before the end of the fight, he won the fight. So I'm also not one of those people that's like, oh well, this dude sucks. All he has is that he hits hard. Like That doesn't really make sense. If you have to have enough skill to land your punch. There's a lot of dudes that are strong and powerful, right? Same thing with Deontay Wilder. Yeah, he looks sloppy a lot of times. People say whatever they say about his boxing, but I'm like, bro, if you fight 40 people and you knock 39 of them out, like you're not unskilled. It's maybe not aesthetic, but you are putting yourself in a position to land that right hand. You understand enough about your body, their bodies, and movement to say their head needs to be right here when I throw this punch to land it perfectly. Because, like anyone that watches fighting knows, like precision and timing are way more important than how hard you hit. You could throw the craziest punches ever. If I just doesn't matter. Same thing with Ngannou. Like that dude lands his punches. Like everybody can't do that. So yeah, it's not always the prettiest. But to say that someone like sucks because all they have is power, I'm like, come on, bro. If that dude sucks and he beat you, then like what does that say? Like if that dude beat Adesanya and you're saying he sucks, what does that say about Adesanya? Could anyone off the street that hits hard walk in and beat him? Probably not, because no. Ngannou a bum, but if he touches you, you might lose a year of your life. Yeah, okay, but even with Ngannou, bro, like if he really sucked, could he have pulled off the grappling that he did against the Frenchman? No. He clearly trains. He clearly does enough to achieve the things that he wants to achieve. Like I said, is it aesthetic? No. Am I gonna say it's super high level grappling or super high level whatever? No. But it's enough. It's enough to win fights. And that's all that matters because the objective is to win the fight. It reminds me of I mean it's all sports, right? Powerlifting too. People are like, oh, like he sumos. It's like, bro, the objective is to lift more weight than you off the floor. If he's sumoing and he's beating you, sumo too. If you can't sumo as much weight as him, then clearly sumo isn't that easy. Or you suck. Like you're not as good as you think you are. If you can't do what he's doing and you're saying this is the easy way out, like maybe you suck, bro. So that's how I feel. Like if all someone has is like a hard right hand and you can't just stay out of the way of one punch, how good are you, bro? How good are you? You could take someone like Mayweather. You're not hitting Mayweather with just your right hand, bro. If that's all you got no chance, bro. That's why, like, people cry so much about the Pacquiao fight, but it's like, bro, he didn't have the arsenal to beat Floyd. Like, in any point in his career, you could say whatever you want to say. He was never gonna beat Mayweather because he's fast, he hits hard, but like, that's what he has over people, not the fight IQ. You know what I mean? So you ain't gonna beat Floyd with just fast hands, hard hits, which is why he never lost. so, so again, like I said, if that can beat you, how good are you really? That was a good little topic right there. We've been talking about a little bit of everything tonight. I like that. Axa came in for a little bit and dipped out. She's probably working or something. Or she's just not interested in this conversation. Floyd wasn't the aggressor in fights, would you say? Depends on what point in his career you're talking about. A lot of times people forget that Floyd Mayweather fought over 3 decades, bro. I should say over the course of 3 decades. He didn't necessarily fight professionally for 30 years, but he fought over the course of 3 decades. So he fought in the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. So At the end of his career, when he was literally in his 30s, bro, in his late 30s too, he was not the aggressor because he was literally old and he was beating up young dudes on his back foot, making them miss all their punches and making them pay for missing their punches. But if you go look at Pretty Boy Floyd, not Money Mayweather, go look at Pretty Boy Floyd. He used to punish those dudes, bro. He used to beat them the fuck up. But he also broke his hands a lot, which is just part of the game when you fight your entire life. He broke his hands a lot. He got old. He doesn't want to break his hands anymore. I'm not gonna argue with someone that says they don't want to break their hands anymore when they make $600 million. Like that's his literal money makers. If he wants to beat you without knocking you out, without breaking his hands, I feel it. If I could get $600 million and never get punched, I think I would do that. So I heard Oxen, I'm back. It's playing in the background. Dope. You don't actually have to be included in this chat if you don't want to. If it's playing in the background, that means I'm getting view time, which means eventually I'm gonna get paid one day. We ain't talking about nothing. We're just talking about fighting. I know you don't want to talk about this, so. By the way, I'm probably gonna get off of here at like 9:30. I think I got on at like 7:30 roughly. So 2 hours would be good. I don't think I'm gonna do like a 3 hour one today unless like a bunch of random people join or something like that. But this has been good. This has been a good chat. So about 40 more minutes, unless all of y'all get off of here before then. Then I'll just get off before then too. I'm gonna make all types of money in games. All types of games. Still 6 folks in here. Yeah, I don't actually know who the 6 are. Planet Moolah, Phil, Axa. Once Jalen's famous, I'm YouTube boxing him. He'll get smoked. Where do I check out the StreamYard thing? Here's the problem. I don't exactly know how StreamYard works, but from what I understand, from what he told me, it should still stream to my channel. So I don't think it will be any different than this. I think if you get notifications that say I'm streaming, well, you should get that notification. If you just get on YouTube and you see that I'm live, I think it would still happen the same way. It's just when you click it, you're gonna see me and another dude streaming tomorrow at the same time. Because he said we'll both get the views from it. So what time and day will it be? It will be tomorrow. Oh man, Adrian Broner boxes tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow, and it would be like roughly the same time. So I don't know. I can't remember exactly where you're at. I think you might have said you're in Texas. I know Phil's in Texas. Whatever. Right now it's 8:55. I got on here at like 7:30. I'm gonna try to get him to get on at like 6:30 because I want to do it earlier. Man, I need to find out what time Adrian Broner is fighting. Am I a Broner fan? I was a Broner fan, and then, bro, I was at his first ever loss in person. I was in San Antonio. Me and my best friend went to go watch him fight. We hung out with Sean Porter the night before. That was like before he was like Sean Porter. Went to the Broner fight. It was literally just us 2 black dudes and like 1 million Mexicans. And like Broner lost, bro. And all of these dudes are like, he lost. And they were like pointing at us and we're like, bro, like that's not my brother. He's just another black dude. Like, you want me to cry? Like, bro, I swear they wanted to fight us so bad, bro. I'm like, we're just gonna leave, bro. Like, it's not our friend. Like, we just came to watch the fight, bro. Like, it's cool. But yeah, I was a Broner fan. Then he got too wild, man. He got too wild. If people are still working on their craft and they're being wild outside the ring, that's cool. But when you are wild outside the ring and then you're not good in the ring, I'm not too much of a fan. But he stopped drinking. He's not with his baby mom anymore, or his last baby mom, because he has like 8 of them. And he seems like he's serious, so I'm gonna give him another chance. I really want to see this because if he wins this, he will be talking about fighting Ryan Garcia for a belt. Because Ryan Garcia will be potentially fighting Rolly Romero for the belt. So, I'm interested. But yeah, hopefully that's like early in the day or so. Actually, I'm gonna look that up right now. What time will Adrian Broner fight? Oh, start time 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, damn it. I think it says the main event will be 10 p.m. Eastern. That will be right. Oh my God. Main event 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Oh my God, bro. I don't want to miss that, bro. Oh. When he stole Polly's side piece. Yeah, that was hilarious. Well, here's what's gonna happen. This makes it even more important that I try to get on with him at like 6 or 6:15 because I'm gonna try to cut out of there. I think I'm gonna try to do like an hour with him and just be like, yeah, man, I feel like we covered everything. So yeah, we're finished here. So yeah, around 6 to 6:30 tomorrow would be the time that the stream would happen. It's my friend. Yeah, I would call him a friend. He's no, it's not the guy that you're thinking of. If you're thinking of my friend that lives in Colombia, no, this guy is someone that I met on here because he is an English teacher. So, yeah, he's from Colombia too, but he's from the coast. Which is why it'll be good for you to listen because he has a crazy accent. He speaks hella fast. Like I'm not gonna do an impression because that's rude. But costeños like they talk real fast and they're gonna talk like this. So talk real fast and they say stuff real fast and it kind of sounds like this when they talk and they don't ever take breaks and they just keep talking and talking and talking and talking. And so sometimes I'm like, whew, that was a lot. It's not like I don't understand it, but you know when you just hear 500 words and then you like forget which ones that you should have focused on and you're like, hold on, I need you to say that all again. It's not that I didn't understand it. It's that I got lost in the amount of words. Because like I said, he will say a lot of words in a short amount of time. And you're just like, I don't even know what I was supposed to respond to in that, bro. Like, I talk super slow. So when people talk really fast, I'm like, which part was the important part, bro? Let's start over. So yeah, that'll be cool. And like I said, I don't know exactly what we're gonna be talking about, But his channel is for people to learn English. My channel is partially for people to learn Spanish. I imagine. I actually don't know. I was about to make something up, but I don't know. I feel like we're gonna just talk about random stuff. Like I feel like we're gonna just have a conversation, kind of like I'm doing right now, and maybe he would want me to say some stuff in English to help his followers learn more English. So maybe we'll be speaking Spanglish. Maybe he'll speak Spanish and I'll speak English for certain parts. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. We really, we generally talked about it. We're just like, hey, let's get on live and talk about random stuff. I was like, cool, let's do it, bro. But even like when we text each other and send voice notes and stuff, like it's generally not all in one language. It will literally be like Spanish, English, Spanish. Like literally one sentence, one sentence, one sentence. Like from both of us. Like, don't know. The only time I speak all Spanish to people is when they only speak all Spanish. If I know someone speaks English, like generally, like whatever sentences I feel like saying in Spanish, I will. Whatever sentences I feel like saying in English, I will. I usually won't speak in all English because I feel like that's kind of rude. But yeah, to me, it's easier to speak to someone that's bilingual than it is to speak to someone that speaks all English or all Spanish. If you're not using Spanish every day, how do you keep from forgetting? Forgetting what? What are you forgetting? If you're forgetting something, it means you don't know it that well. To put it plainly, like, let me give you an example. Oh, you know what? Where's that book at? What book was I reading to you from? I can't remember what page we were on. Don't worry, I'm gonna find it. I remember there was police, so it has to be right here. Hmm. Wow, the pages are falling out the book. How did that happen? That is insane. Okay. Wow, this book's falling apart. So, don't look it up. Do you remember what me estaba haciendo demasiadas preguntas means? America's the only country that matters. No, I don't need to speak slower. That's the point. So, if I would have said, I don't know, literally anything more simple, if I would have said, el color rojo, right? What did I just say right there? Tell me what I just said. Exactly. You just made my point. I didn't say that any slower than I said the last sentence. It's just the fact that you know it. It's the fact that so deep down in your brain because you've probably heard the color red 500 times. Whether it's through school, through life, whatever, like random people know what hola means because they've heard it 1,000 times, bro. You would never forget how to say hola. You would never forget how to say gracias. Like the most random white lady in Outback Steakhouse knows how to say gracias because you've heard it 1,000 times. It's become a concept in your head. It's not something that you need to think about. It's just when I feel gratitude, thank you, gracias pop up. So, same thing with this stuff. When you say, how do you keep from forgetting? It's like you need to know it better. That's the simple answer. You're not gonna forget how to say uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez, right? Like, you're not gonna forget that because it's one of the most basic concepts that you learn. What you might forget is how to say too many. You might forget how to say you're asking me too many questions because that's not a sentence that you say all the time. So when you say how do you keep from forgetting, there's there's a base level, and this goes with fitness too. I think I talked about this in a live before. There's a base level that you develop over time that you could literally never fall back from unless you're like in a coma or something, which would be the same thing. If you're in a coma, you might forget how to speak your native language because it will be so long that you've used it for. But if I went 1 month without saying anything in Spanish, I would still be able to talk. Would I be able to speak with the eloquency that I want to? Probably not. But I wouldn't, like, someone wouldn't walk up to me and I'd be like, I forgot to speak Spanish because there's just a base level that I've developed that, like, it's just something that I know how to do. Same thing in English. If you haven't given a presentation in a long time, you might find yourself rusty on giving presentations. Or if you haven't had a deep conversation, if you haven't said complicated words, if you haven't talked in front of a YouTube live, you might get nervous about it. Like, actually, yeah, like when I do YouTube lives with other people, the more that I do them, uh, like the more comfortable I feel speaking. But like if I haven't done a YouTube live with someone in a long time, like bro, it just feels like fuck, bro, I forgot how to speak English. Like I don't remember like how to be eloquent when I'm talking to another person. You said if you really know something, you won't forget it. However, Mexican Americans forget Spanish all the time. I know a lot of dudes that forgot how to speak their native Spanish. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you, but what age they stop speaking that matters because like I don't remember anything in my childhood from like 10 and below. Like I got like three memories. But I guarantee you they didn't speak for 25 years of their life and forget how to speak Spanish. They might forget some words, but you're not gonna unbilingual yourself. Like you're not gonna move to another. I'm not gonna forget how to speak English, bro. Like I promise you, no matter where I go in the world, I will know how to speak English. Like that's not a thing. Unless you have some trauma, some serious trauma. But I'm talking about regular circumstances. Like you're not gonna forget your like a base of something that you have. Now, like I said, kids, it's a totally different story. Yeah, Mexican Americans, but he said their native Spanish, which means it would be their first language that they learn in the house. Like my wife, the first language that she learned is Spanish, but it's not her primary language. So you would learn that language until you go to school, which is what 5, 6, 7 years old, and then you might never use it again. Like yeah, something that you learn for 5 years in the next 25 years you never use it, yes, you can forget it. That's a really long time, bro. But what you're talking about, Planet Moolah, if you go a long time without speaking, how do you keep from forgetting? Like it's not years because I've only been speaking it for years. I can't go. I've been speaking Spanish for 4 or 5 years. I don't have years to go without using it. I might go weeks without using it, which, like I said, you're not gonna forget 100% of what you learned in 5 weeks. Which I wouldn't even go 5 weeks without using it. But if I did, I still wouldn't forget it. Same thing, like I said with fitness. Like, yeah, if you don't work out for 5 years, you could probably do a lot of damage. If you don't work out for 5 weeks, literally nothing's gonna happen. You're gonna feel out of shape for a couple of weeks, and then you'll be back to normal. So, true, true, but you got to keep sharpening the sword. Yeah, of course. Like, of course, if you can, you want to progress, but like, life happens the same way that Mexican Americans have circumstances that make them not speak Spanish. Regular people that are learning a language have circumstances that will make them not speak a language. So it's, it would be cool if you could speak Spanish every single day for a certain amount of time with a certain amount of people. I have a lot of soldiers that I speak Spanish with, but like for instance, for the last 2 months, all of my Puerto Rican soldiers are in the field right now, so I haven't had them to speak Spanish with. So I'm speaking. I have spoken a lot less Spanish in the last 2 months than I did, let's say, for the 3 months before that when I was talking to them every single day. So for the last 2 months, in total, a lot of Spanish because then for the most part, I'm only speaking Spanish to my friend from Colombia on the phone or my dance teacher sometimes. But she understands English, so sometimes I end up saying sentences in English. Like I said, it's totally different when you're speaking to someone that's bilingual versus someone that only speaks one language because it forces you to speak the language, right? So it's good. You're moving to Colombia, so you have no choice but to speak Spanish. Yes and no. Like, I think that's a trap that people fall into. Like, at the end of the day, if you want to go through your life doing something or not doing something, you will. There's lots of people that I know that I swear to God, bro, I'm not making this up. I know someone that lived in Colombia for 3 years that does not speak Spanish. He was in the military, and you can just hang out with people that speak English, bro. And you're gonna have Colombian nationals that want to learn English. Like people want to learn English, bro. A lot of people want to come here. A lot of people want to learn a second language. If you only speak English, they're gonna be fine with that because they want to speak English, bro. So that's the problem with like apps like Hello Talk and stuff like that. You're doing a language exchange, but the person that you're speaking to might be really excited to learn English and they might want to come here and they might dominate the conversation in English. So, like, yeah, you could say I'm gonna move here and immerse myself because I have no choice, but you do have a choice. You have the choice to be a foreigner, a tourist that is scared to speak the language, that forces people to bend to their will, or you could put yourself out there, say like, "Ah, I don't care if I get embarrassed. I'm gonna try this," because you can do that here. Like that's literally how I got better at speaking Spanish. I would go into stores if I hear people speaking Spanish. I just say like, "Yo, I'm just gonna talk to them in Spanish." People sitting in the sauna speaking in Spanish. I know they speak English too, but I'm like, I'm gonna just start speaking to them in Spanish. I'm not gonna give them the option of speaking in English to me, or I will only speak Spanish to them even if they speak English back to me. So it's still a choice. So don't fall into that trap. You're right. I used to be in ESL throughout elementary school. I have friends who were taken out of ESL in second grade. It's them whose Spanish is either terribly limited or forgot it altogether. Yeah, it's definitely easy. I don't know if I want to use the word easy, but it's for sure possible to lose a language when it's in the beginning of your life. Like even I could use me with Arabic, right? I know a lot of Arabic when I was a kid because my dad's fluent in Arabic. Most of the stuff that I knew now, or most of the stuff that I knew then, if you ask me now, I'll be like, "Ooh, like I know what it means," but like, hold on, bro. I haven't heard that in 20 years. Like it's been a long time. So, like I said, I don't remember. Like, bro, I barely have any childhood memories. Like, I'm 31. I remember like high school and up. There's like very sharp memories from middle school. Like, I remember fights that I got into. Uh, I remember like certain teachers, but like, bro, there's teachers that I couldn't tell you anything about, bro. I remember one teacher from all of elementary school. Her name was Miss Brawley. Why I remember her? I don't know, bro. She didn't do anything special. Couldn't tell you what she looked like. I just remember the name Miss Brawley. And I remember Jimmy in that class because he had ADD and he was mad hype. And sometimes she would have to call his mom to bring him his medication. Outside of that, don't remember anyone in the class. Don't remember any of my other teachers. Don't remember a single conversation. So yeah, if you only spoke a language until you were like 6 years old or 8 years old or something, and then you never speak it again or you barely speak it again, you definitely can lose it for sure. Do you recommend any apps for language exchange? What did you say? Hello Talk. Um, I've never used Hello Talk for that reason. It's free, so you could look into it. But like I said, you're gonna be exchanging a language with someone for free, which means there's no rules. You don't get to say this is what I want. You're just going with the flow. Uh, italki, you will pay someone to teach you the language, or at least to do whatever you want in the language. Like maybe they're not a professional teacher, so their rate would be cheaper. But you could say like, hey, I just want to have conversations in Spanish. Like we could talk about anything, but this is what I want to do, and you're paying them, so they're not gonna say no. I hate that the purpose of ESL is to use our Spanish skills to teach us English rather than to develop our Spanish skills. Yeah, unfortunately, man, that's a tough situation because especially depending on where you're at, like um in my hometown, like there was a lot of Spanish speakers, but it wasn't like Puerto Rico or like some like Miami or something like that where it's like yeah you'll be good if you don't speak English, like everyone speaks Spanish here. It wasn't like that. There's Spanish speakers in my hometown, but everyone speaks English. So when if you don't have a certain level of English, like you're automatically getting like cheated basically, like out of your life experience. If you're in school, school's already hard enough, bro. Like you're a kid, you're stupid. Like everyone's trying to figure out this math stuff. If you can't understand a teacher, bro, like you're like destined to fail, bro. So their objective is like we need you to understand what's going on around you so you have like a fair shot, which sucks. It sucks for the kid because, like you said, like you're not developing your Spanish at all. It's like you need to learn English, bro. Like this is what you're dealing with right now, and that's just what it is. That's why, and this is complicated too, but it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that your Spanish stays intact. But if you work all day, if you're an immigrant, if you're this, that, and the other, like you're not focused on that, bro. You're focused on surviving. You're focused on making sure your kid gets the best of the best, which probably like you don't need Spanish to get the best of the best. You need to pass your classes. You need whatever. So they're not focused on that. And then you're 25 and you don't speak Spanish, and they're like, damn, bro, we didn't know you suck so bad at Spanish. Like we probably would have focused on it more. But it's hard, man. Like life's not easy. Life is not easy, and everyone in the world, not even just like people that speak a language. I talk to mad random English speakers that are just like, yeah, I want to make sure my kid's bilingual. I'm gonna make sure I blah blah blah, and I'm like, you think it's that easy? Like, you think you're just gonna put sticky notes on your refrigerator and say Blanco. Like, and the kid's just gonna speak Spanish. Like, no, bro. Like, there's people, like I said, like, there's people whose parents speak Spanish and they don't speak Spanish, bro, because their whole life is in English. And these very small interactions are in Spanish to the point that they understand a decent amount. But they're just like, I never had to speak back. So, Yeah, I forgot most stuff from anything before the age of 18. I think I have early dementia. I don't think that's early dementia. I just think as life goes on, the current stuff is more important than the older stuff. When you were in middle school, you probably still could remember stuff from elementary school, but like when you got to high school, you forgot more stuff from elementary school because it's like, who cares what happened in first grade, bro? If it wasn't like traumatic like that, who cares? Like, who cares about my teachers from first grade? They had no serious impact in my life. As unfortunate as that is, like, they taught me a subject, we went on with our lives. So I just like, I don't need to remember it. If I have kids, do I want them to learn Spanish? Of course. That's part of that's part of the reason that I wanted to move to Puerto Rico or Colombia because, like I said, if I can have my kid interacting with the world in Spanish, then it's too easy to speak English in the house. And then if we move back to the States, once they're whatever age, they'll be forced to learn English because that's what happens when you come here. And then they'll have both languages. Like I said, you just need to get to a certain point in your life where it's a strong base to the point that you won't forget it. 5 years old is not a strong base. Not when you get to 25 years old. But if you make it out of like middle school, high school, and you're bilingual, like you're not gonna just like unbilingual yourself. Like I said earlier, right? You're not gonna be a 20. If you're 25 years old and you speak Spanish and English fluently, you're not gonna be 30 and just be like, fuck, I forgot to speak Spanish, bro. Like I stopped speaking it and I forgot. No, you might get rusty, but like my wife is never gonna forget how to speak Spanish. Like even if she didn't speak it, which I'm pretty sure happened to her for a couple years because that's how life is. But she got back into a job where she was speaking more Spanish. I started speaking Spanish, and so we're doing more things where we interact with people that speak Spanish. And so her Spanish has gotten better, but she never forgot it. It might have gotten worse than when she was a kid, but for instance, we wrote English essays, but never Spanish essays. Therefore, my English writing is university level. However, I'm not too confident. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was saying about my wife. My wife, her first language is Spanish, but it's not her primary language because she's gone to school all the way up through finishing her university and she's about to do her master's. She's done all this stuff in English that she hasn't done in Spanish. Like I'm pretty sure she told me she taught herself how to read in Spanish. So she's fluent in Spanish, but like your education matters. Like you said, like you're not gonna be as confident in one language if you've done university level stuff in the other language. So it's the same thing. Like she's not gonna forget how to speak, but is she gonna be super confident like she is in her English? Probably not, because it's literally not on the same level, which is fine. It's pretty tough to just be like super good at everything. So Phil says, just like I don't speak Korean, but I do, but I sound like a dummy. My mom never taught me. She just spoke to me. Yeah, exactly. So that happens to a lot of kids. It's like English is my right hand and Spanish is my left hand. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of Spanish speakers in the States. It's like I said, I don't know you like that, but I'm sure you feel fluent in Spanish because you are. I'm sure you don't feel like you couldn't talk to someone, but maybe if you had to express yourself, you would feel more confident in your English. And usually, people like that, people from other countries, instantly hear you speak and they know, like, you're from America because fucking Spanish speakers in other countries are brilliant Spanish speakers. Bro, I'll be watching TikToks and it's like 4-year-old little kids, and I'm like, bro, I swear this dude's like speaking a thesis right now. Like this dude is incredibly smart and expressive. And so anytime I think my Spanish is good, I watch TikTok and I see some little 5-year-old like saying the smartest thing I've ever heard in Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm an English speaker. I'm not a Spanish speaker. English my right hand, Spanish is my left toe. You'll get there, bro. You'll get there. I think it's also important to put things in perspective, just like we're talking about um, ESL students, time spent in a language. I don't remember exactly how old you are, Planet Moolah. I think we're close to the same age or the same age. But to put it into perspective, I've roughly been speaking English for 30 years. Like, literally. Yeah, okay, you're 32. I was speaking when I was 2 years old. Like, I had a college reading level when I was 5 years old, bro. Like, I'm hella smart. I've been speaking Spanish in total like 5 years. Like, at a high level or at a decent level for like 3 years. So I'm not gonna compare that to my 30 years of English. Like I said, when I was 5 years old, I was reading at a university level, but that was still even 5 years of only English. My Spanish is still even now like 1 hour, 2 hours out of my 24-hour day versus all of the stuff that I do in English. So I'm not gonna compare my English to my Spanish, and I probably never will. Which is why I never say words for the most part, like fluent or anything like that. I don't care about that, bro. Like, I care about communicating with people. If you only speak Spanish, I can talk to you. I can talk to you about anything. And we can have a conversation. Anything that I want to express, I will express it. Will I be expressing it exactly like I would want to in English? Maybe not. Maybe. Kind of just depends because a lot of stuff's cultural too. So the personality that I even have in English, I can't even have in Spanish because like I make a lot of references, bro. You can ask my wife. Most of the time I say stuff, she doesn't get it. I'm like, you never seen this movie. That's why. Like I said, I only have like roughly 5 to 10 years of experiences in Spanish. I have more experiences than I have speaking because I grew up in Texas. But I'm not gonna compare it to my whole life spent in English. It's just not the same thing, and I don't pretend it is. When it got hard for you, what made you stick with it? Oh, I guess when most people would quit. Um, I just stuck with it because I just stick with stuff, bro. Like I said, I think my perspective on it makes a difference because if you're looking at it like I need to be like the smartest guy in Spanish, like I need my Spanish to be as good as my English, I need to not make mistakes, I need to this, that, and the other, you're gonna get frustrated. And I feel like you will quit because like you're expecting the impossible out of yourself. Can you get to a university level in Spanish? Absolutely. Can you become super fluent? Absolutely. But like I said, if you're at 2 years of Spanish, why are you putting 30-year expectations on yourself? Maybe when you get to 30 years in Spanish, then you can say like I probably should be fluent by now. I probably could have been university level by now, but bro, you're still learning how the language works. You're still learning sentence structure. You're still hearing words that you've never heard before, and basic words, not advanced words. I'm talking about very basic stuff. Earlier, just like I said, like you asked me to slow down, but I really said what I said at a normal speed, which was made evident when I said the next sentence that you understood. I said them both at the same speed. It's just that you're just new to the language, so things sound weird. So you need to just pull back your expectations a little bit and say like I am a learner, bro. I am new to this language. Even if you're 3, 4 years in, you're still new to the language. Think about a 4-year old in English. Yes, 4-year-olds can be smart, 6-year-olds can be smart, 7-year-olds can be smart. But are you gonna talk to a 4-year-old like you would talk to me? Probably not. I talk to kids. Honestly, I talk to kids like they're adults. But even still, I still choose my words wisely. Like earlier, I said something about speaking eloquently. Am I gonna say eloquently to a 4-year-old? If I thought they would understand it, maybe. But more than likely, if they're 4 years old, they don't know the word eloquently. Not yet. So I would say something more simple. And so, like I said, just put it in perspective and just remember that, like, you're literally just starting. Same thing I would say if you were in fitness and you're like, "Ah, I think I'm gonna just quit. I'm not Floyd Mayweather." It's like you're not Floyd Mayweather. You don't have 30 years in boxing. You got 1 year. You're gonna suck, bro. You just started. Like until you hit 5 to 10 years in pretty much anything, you got no chance of being good at it. You can show some promise. You can show some potential, but it it just takes a long time to be good at stuff. Like that's just the facts. My Spanish vocab has exploded since I started reading Spanish books, classics like Plato's Republic, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and biographies about Hernan Cortez. Will keep your blade sharp. Yeah, for sure. I would say the same thing about that as I would say to someone reading stuff in their own native language. If you're reading stuff that you don't understand, you might walk away with nothing. You're clearly smart, which is why you're reading that stuff and you're taking away stuff from it, and it's helping you. Planet Moolah, if he reads that stuff that you're talking about, he might walk away with nothing. I'm not gonna. It might be a waste of time. I always say like if I watched, I don't know, if I watched some Harvard lecture about rocket science right now, I probably would watch a 30-minute video and just be like, I don't know what the fuck they were talking about, bro. Like I could tell you some words they said, but I have no base in rocket science. So like any equations they're talking about, any concepts, I literally don't know that stuff. So like it means nothing to me, which means when they use that to build on further concepts, it will mean nothing to me. Kind of like Phil was saying, his son knows a lot of things in context. That is essentially um, comprehensible input. If you don't know any words and I tell you, wow, you speak real eloquently. I understand everything you're saying. You have good enunciation. None of that stuff will mean anything. And you probably won't take away the word enunciation or eloquently from what I said. But if you have a base and I say, you know what? You really enunciate your words. You say them clearly and I understand them. That's very good enunciation. If you had never heard enunciation before, just from knowing all of the other words, you'll probably be like, okay, enunciation clearly means like something to do with pronouncing the words well. You might not be able to use it exactly after you heard it in those two instances, but you have an idea. And then next time you heard someone say enunciate, and you heard someone say, man, this dude don't enunciate. I can't understand nothing he's saying. You'll be like, oh, I get what enunciate is now. That's how learning languages works. That's how learning concepts works, period. Like, you don't understand it the very first time you hear it unless it's really simple. But the more you hear something in context, eventually you will say, I can use this now too. Whereas, like, in the beginning, you might just be like, yeah, I know what it means. I just kind of don't know when to say it myself, which is kind of all language. That's why in the beginning, if you learn in Spanish or whatever, you're like, yeah, I understand what they're saying, but I can't put the sentences together. But the more you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, I could do that, and you start doing the basics, and then you just add stuff on top of that. Mom, you took ages to come home after your work. Your kid be saying ages. That's like some 1850s British stuff. That took ages to do. Maybe I need to start reading a Spanish book to help learn vocab. Absolutely. The reason I think reading is good is because, for one, you can look at it more than one time, right? Um, so like what we were talking about earlier, like you didn't understand what I said. If you were reading, you could just read it again. The second thing about that is you can see exactly how it's spelled, and you won't have any questions about pronunciation. Like I still remember when I first started learning, I remember asking my wife like, because I had read something that said like boy ah blah, but before that I had heard it a lot, and I'm like, do you actually like put like is there like actually a I in between? Like I thought it was just boy leer, boy hacer. Like I thought there was no a in the middle, right? Until I read it, and I'm like, yo, am I tripping? Like, is that a real thing? And she's like, duh. Like, yeah, you have to put that there. Like, that's how the sentence structure works. But when I was hearing people say it, like it's happening so fast, I couldn't. Like, I thought it was just like boy leer. I didn't know it was boy a leer, right? So reading can help you with a lot of grammatical concepts that you might not be able to hear because people are speaking so fast. And then when you hear it, it's like you're hearing it slow down because you're like, oh, I know that. Like I know what that is. Like I've read that before. Problem that's not such a problem in Spanish because Spanish is really phonetic. Problem with reading in languages is that you can read a word with the wrong pronunciation 500 times, and that's the way the word is in your head, and it takes a lot to undo it. Uh, but like I said, Spanish is pretty phonetic, so if you got a good handle on how to pronounce vowels in Spanish and how to read like multisyllabic words, then you shouldn't have too much trouble. But there's still stuff that can trip you up. Um, it helps to read books in both languages. One suggestion is to get one of those bilingual Bibles. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I used to read like bilingual stuff like that. Only problem with stuff like that is if you're not like already bilingual is that let me think of the words I want to use because it's the same way I feel about watching stuff with English subtitles. It's like your brain will take the lazy way, right? Remember when I was reading to you and we were doing that exercise and I would tell you to try to think about what this means. If you got the bilingual version, you're just gonna look at the English word and you're just like, this means this to me. But sometimes, and I don't have an example off the top of my head, sometimes you can do a translation, but the translation doesn't do it justice. And it's better for you to understand the concept more than it is to understand the translation. Because if you're not an interpreter, you don't have to do a translation. You need to understand what you're hearing. You need to understand how to say it back. So there's a lot of stuff that I might know in Spanish that I wouldn't be able to properly explain in English. I just be like, yeah, I just you just know what it is. Like, oh, actually, you know what? A good example is like gossip, right? Gossip in English, to me, this is personal. Gossip to me has a negative connotation. There's there's no real good way to say I like gossiping in English. Like you sound like a negative person. It's like why do you like gossiping about people, bro? But chisme, bochinche, they're just different in Spanish. Like you could say that you like doing that, and depending on the context of the conversation, no one's gonna be like, "What the?" They're gonna be like, "Yeah, I like chismeando too." Like, like, what's up? Let's look out the window and like talk about people because it's just different. So like sometimes like you could do a translation, but there's literally just no way to convey the cultural situation and like the feeling of the word. Like it's something that you would have to encounter multiple times and just be like, okay, like I see what's going on here. But like I said, if you had bochinche and gossip right next to each other, and every time you saw bochinche, you're like gossip, then maybe you might be like, okay, bochinchero, automatically negative person. Not necessarily. Could be a negative person. But it could just be the dude that just likes talking about stuff. Which some people will say that's negative. But like I said, in English, to me, I don't know if there's a positive way that you could say that someone likes gossiping. Whereas like in Spanish, there's like a neutral way that you could say like, oh yeah, this dude. I guess okay. In English, you could say like it's kind of like a Pride Month kind of thing. I'm not gonna say the actual word, but like sometimes people say like, yeah, that dude got the tea, or that yeah, she got the tea. Like she always got the tea because culturally, that community doesn't feel the same way about gossiping that maybe everyone else does. You know what I mean? Just make sure you get one of those modern translations rather than something like King James version. Old translations have archaic words that no one uses anymore. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Ah, damn! I said I was gonna get off here at 9:30. We'll push to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock on the dot, y'all. We're gonna get off of here at 10 o'clock. Rolando popped up in here, so we had a new person. We extend the time a little bit. Oh damn, Phil! I just saw you say you listen to Bisping podcast. Yeah, kids are interesting, man. It's interesting what their ears choose to hear because they'll pick the most random words out of a sentence and just be repeating that, and you're just like, why is that? Why is that the thing you're hearing in this sentence? You know what I mean? I watched this TikTok earlier. Clearly, I've been on TikTok all day. Everything I say, I'm like, I watched this TikTok. But this little girl went up to her mom and she was like pointing at her brother. She was like, he said, matter of fact. And the mom thought she was saying motherfucker. And she was like, he said, what? And she was like, he said, matter of fact. And because she's a little kid, she's pronouncing it kind of wrong. And the mom's like, get over here, Chase. Did you say that? And he's like, I didn't say that. She's like, he said, matter of fact. And she just kept repeating that over and over, bro. It's like the only words that stuck in her head, and that's all she could say, bro. She's a little kid. Like, she didn't even have other words. All she could say is, he said, matter of fact. He said, matter of fact. And then he was just like, I don't know what she's talking about. I was just jumping on the bed, and I said, matter of fact, I'm going to go over here. And then it was like, it was at that point in the TikTok that I realized what was going on. I'm like, oh, he said, matter of fact, I'm going to go over here. But, like, for whatever reason, she picked up on matter of fact. Maybe it was the first time she ever heard it or something. And she just kept repeating it. And, of course, like I said, the mom was, like, on his head. Like, I'm about to beat your ass. You cussing up in here. Like, there's plenty of things said, but how did he get the context of ages meaning taking a long time? Yeah, like I said, man, some stuff that we might glaze over, it might have actually stood out when he said it. He might have actually exaggerated it, but you didn't even think about it because you know what it means. You've heard it 100 times. But he might have said something like, "This fight's taking ages to happen. We needed to hurry up." And then, that's like, that's a big exaggeration. But you wouldn't think twice about it because, like I said, we know what it means. It's like, whatever. Uh, there's so much. Yeah. I love language, man. I love language. I love etymology. I love hearing words that I know or don't know and like looking up where they come from and like almost in all languages, because because most languages, like, or I should say, like, most civilizations are religious, or they were religious. Like, all greetings and, um, like, all greetings and salutations are, like, based in God, whether people know it or not. And I remember, I remember, like, I was literally, like, arguing with my homie from Colombia because, like, he speaks Spanish, so he's never thought about it before. It's like, nah, bro, that's not what's going on. But I remember when I had like a realization, like he said adios, and I'm like, oh, that's like go with God, like, you know what I mean, like may God be with you, because that's like kind of something that we say in Arabic, and he was like, no, it's adios, it's not like Dios, like you're thinking, it's not Dios. And I'm like, oh, it is. Like, that's where it comes from. That's why it's adios. Like, that is where it comes. I can literally hear it, bro. Because it was weird to me. It wasn't weird to him. He's been saying it his whole life. He's never thought about it before. Yeah, it does make sense. But, like, he was getting pissed. He was like, no, you're confused. It's a different thing. It's not the same word. I'm like, I know it's not the same word, but that's where it comes from. Like, but at the time, I didn't have the Spanish to explain to him what I was thinking. And I'm like, oh my God, bro, you don't get it. Like, that's where it comes from. And it's like the same thing with like goodbye. Goodbye came from God be with you, right? And it just got truncated into goodbye over time because of people writing it weird and all kinds of stuff. God be with you turned into goodbye. So bro, I love just nerding out, reading stuff like that. Every time I hear a new expression or my homie from Colombia says something, I'm just like, hey, where does that come from, bro? Like, why do y'all say that? And he's just like, I don't know, bro. Like, just what you say. Like, where he's from in Colombia, when somebody steals something and the town beats them up, they call it giving them a massage, bro, in Spanish. But they call it giving them a massage. And I'm like, why y'all say that? And he's like, because like we're giving them a massage. And I'm like, what the like, bro? That's not no, that's not normal. You can't just be like, yeah, we're just giving them a massage. Like, why do you call it giving them a massage? So I'm like on Google, bro. I'm like, why in Cali do they say giving a thief a massage? Like, where does it come from? I'm like reading stories. Oh, well, it might have come from this because you're speaking in code and you're saying we're gonna touch them. It's kind of the same kind of thing in English. Like, I could get you touched. Like, obviously, I'm not just talking about touching you. Like, I'm gonna get you touched. You know what I'm saying? And so, I love reading stuff like that, bro. I love hearing stories about like how language evolved and like the word true comes from tree because trees are always in the exact same spot. It's like, oh, dog, that makes sense. That's cool, bro. Yeah, no, like I said, bro, it was at a time when I was first learning Spanish, so I couldn't tell him what I was thinking. He thought I was confused about what he said. So it wasn't that he didn't like he it wasn't that he didn't understand, it was that I couldn't express myself. So um, he just didn't want to lead me astray. He thought that how do I say this? He thought that I thought adios was religious. Does that make sense? It's kind of like in Arabic. If you don't know Arabic, people think assalamu alaikum. People think like mashallah, Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah. They think all of that stuff is religious, but it's not religious. It's just the fact that religious people, religious people say it, and so it's just a part of the language. But like, even if you didn't believe in God, you would still say, "Praise be to God," like because that's just how the language is built now. So he was just making sure that I didn't think that he was saying something religious by saying that. I don't even know how to. I can't even express myself in English, bro. But I think you get where I'm going with that. Just kind of like I said with goodbye. Yeah, it came from God be with you, but like I don't have to be religious to say goodbye. So if someone was like, "Oh, like if you say goodbye, it means God be with you. It's religious." I'll be like, "Yeah, but it's not religious. Like, yeah, it did come from that, but it's not religious though." So that would be tough to explain to someone that doesn't speak English. If they had an idea of where it came from, but they didn't have enough English to talk about it, it would be tough to be like, "Yeah, it came from that, but it's not religious." So that's what we were going through, but in Spanish, like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Yeah, language is tough, man. Language is tough. There's a lot of conversations that I've had in Spanish that like I look back on and I'm like, now that I think about it, that dude definitely had no idea what I was talking about because I literally didn't have the words to express myself. And at the time, I thought I was expressing myself well because it's like literally the only vocabulary that I was armed with. But you learn new words, new concepts, and you look back and you're like, oh hell nah. Like I see why he was looking like that, bro. Because yeah, no, just no. So the other thing, well, I mean, yeah, it's all the same concept. I remember there was a Venezuelan dude in a barber shop, and at the time, it never occurred to me that I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It never occurred to me that a native speaker would not know the difference between letters, and so he he grew up in an area where they pronounce R's like L's, just like Puerto Ricans. And so he was telling me something, and like when he was explaining it, he was saying it with an L. All right, let me look it up. Actually, let me look up the expression that he was telling me. Okay, so I'll plan on I gotta go to bed. I'll try to catch you tomorrow. Cool, bro. Appreciate you stopping in. So, this dude from Venezuela was trying to teach me stuff from his town. And he was basically telling me, like, yeah, if you see a girl super, super fine, he's like, regular people are going to say, ta buena, ta buena. But he was like, in my town, we say, bulda. And he said it with an L. Bulda de buena. And I was like, bulda. I'm like, what's bulda? And he's like, bulda. And he like wrote it, but he wrote it with an L. He wrote Bulda. And so he was like, bulda, bulda, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like looking this up on Google. I'm like, well, this shit doesn't exist. Like, I feel like he made this up. Bulda. But because he pronounces R's like L's, in his mind, that shit was spelled with an L, bro. But it's really spelled with an R. So it's really burda. Burda e buena. And once I realized that, I Googled it and like all the definitions popped up. And I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So there's just a lot of stuff with language that can easily confuse us, right? Because at the end of the day, words, sentences, all the language is just you trying to get another person to understand a concept in your mind. Like just because a word exists doesn't mean that it accurately portrays what you're thinking. Which is why we have multiple words, we have synonyms, different connotations for words. You could be from a place where cunt is not a bad word. Sorry if someone's like got their speaker on or something like that. But if you're from Australia or the UK, you might say that every 5 seconds, bro. And I can't tell you that that's a super offensive word and you're not allowed to say it. It's a different word to both of us. Like a word doesn't mean anything except the definition that people give it. So it's definitely language is interesting. Bro, Don Quixote will put your vocab comprehension skills to the test. Every page will have you looking up words, and you'll realize that no one uses them anymore. Yeah, that's why I don't read that, bro. Like, I know that's like it's like the first thing everyone wants to read, or like 100 Years of Solitude. Bro, I don't read books like that in English, so I don't read them in Spanish either. I read contemporary books. I like reading books about psychology. I like reading good fiction books. But books like that, stuff that I talk about every day. I'm probably not going to be using Shakespeare in my daily life. So it's cool if you want to sound pretentious, uh, or if you like literature. Like there's people that just like genuinely like Shakespeare. I don't care about Shakespeare, bro. I know Hamlet, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet. I know what those are. I know the story of Romeo and Juliet. I kinda know Hamlet. Kinda. Outside of that, bro, I do not care, bro. Whenever people make Shakespeare references, I'm like, you lost me, bro. I don't care about Shakespeare, bro. Like I know he's supposed to be like Shakespeare. He's the greatest, right? But bro, I don't talk like that. I don't want to read that shit. I just don't. Um, I do like Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart. That's one of my favorite stories ever. So like the language is kind of heavy in The Telltale Heart because it's a little bit older, but it's still contemporary enough that um, that it's not like a different language. Like old English is literally a different language, bro. Like it's you might as well be reading Spanish. Like no one talks like that, and kind of like you said about like Don Quixote, like you have to look up half the stuff, and then like even when you look it up, it's words that no one uses anymore, bro. And they're like, yeah, this meant this back in the day. It doesn't even mean this anymore. It's like the word gay, right? Like 50 years ago, 80 years ago, gay meant something that doesn't mean anymore. So it's like you just learned a new vocabulary word. You learned a new vocabulary word, and you can't even use it because no one uses that anymore, and they don't use it that way anymore. So you might even confuse yourself. Reading, listening, reading and listening about current events like politics and random events is also a must. Yeah, so that's what I have Twitter for. Twitter and TikTok, bro, to keep me updated. Like half my followers speak Spanish, half my followers speak English. So I get current events in English and Spanish. Like my followers that speak Spanish will post stuff that's happening in their home countries or wherever. Like I love reading and watching about President Bukele and how he's smacking up MS-13. I love it, bro. The Raven Nevermore takes you back to the days I wore black. He was emo, bro. My wife was emo too, so yeah, I might be friends. Phil, were you ever emo? I don't know, like I feel like emo don't be working out for black people. I knew some emo black kids though, but they weren't really you like emo kids are already like on the outside of popularity in society. Black emo kids, way over there, bro. Like I'll be like, yo, you gotta be super weird to be an emo black kid. Nah, just white. uh, yeah, Phil, you was where where did Glock leather come from? Glock leather, were you emo? This brought you into the conversation. Oh man, I'm dead. I'm white skin. I shock people when I speak Spanish. Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing too about learning languages and new cultures and stuff, man. Like, there's so much about the world that you don't know, man. Like, I did not know. how many straight up like pale white people speak Spanish. And on the same note, I didn't know how many like real dark black people there are in Spanish speaking countries that you would look at and have no idea they speak Spanish. Because like in America, you have like a real brown concept of Spanish speakers. Like you think of the most Mexican looking dude ever when you think of a Spanish speaker. At best and worst, you think of like a light skinned Dominican with a perm, and then like a Spaniard, which is still like they're white, but they look like a different white than like a regular American white dude. But then, like I said, you start learning about how people look in these countries, and you watch interviews of them speaking Spanish, and you're like, damn, I would have never thought that this white dude speaks Spanish. Like, but then you just realize that language is everywhere. It doesn't matter what you look like. Emo as fuck. Hit home. Glock Leather, how long have you been in this chat, bro? I want to know how much you heard that emo just brought you into the chat. My first day at the new job, there's this Colombian dude who looked like a regular black dude. I said, "What's up, bro?" And dude started speaking pure Spanish. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. Like the dude that taught me how to speak Spanish. Like, bro, he's as black as I am or darker. And like, if I ever saw him years ago, I would have literally never thought that he spoke Spanish. Now I'll be looking at people and I'm like, or but even Spanish speakers themselves. Like yesterday, I went to an event. Now keep in mind, my wife wasn't with me. I went to a dance event, and I'm with two Spanish speakers. One's Colombian, one's Mexican. I'm talking to them, bro. We're in a trio talking, and people will come up to us, and like they would speak to them in Spanish, and then they would look at me, and they'd be like, "Thank you for coming." And I'm like, "Why you just assume I don't speak Spanish, bro? Like I'm literally sitting right here speaking to two people that barely fucking speak English, like." But in America, that's just the way it is. Like most black people you see in America probably don't speak Spanish. It's just true. But in other countries, that would not be the case. Oh, okay. You only been here for like 5 minutes, bro. I thought you were literally just like lurking in the chat, and the emo thing just brought you out. Cause like that's what we were talking about, like maybe like an hour ago. The chat always says there's like 5 to 10 people in here, but only like 2 or 3 people talk. So I'm always like, I wonder like what would make them interact? Like what are they doing over there? I thought you were just lurking, bro. 23andMe says I'm 50% Spaniard, but damn, that 50% took over. Hey man, sometimes certain genes win. My ancestry.com says I'm like 40% white, bro. And look at me. I'm not Spaniard. You can't tell there's any white in my system. So, but I am. If you look at my cousins, I think you would see it. A lot of them are. A lot of them are lighter. I gotta peace out, man. You wild. It's late. All right, y'all stay up. All right, bro. Thanks for dropping in. See you on another day. Oh damn, it's 10:05, bro. I keep saying I'm gonna get off at a certain time, and I don't get off. Here's what I'm gonna do. Let me see. I'm at 1:43 and 46 seconds. Okay. When that shit gets to 150 minutes, I don't care what we're talking about, bro. I'm clicking off. Y'all could be mad at me, bro. I don't. You could be in the middle of typing. I'm Xing. So you got 6 minutes to get anything off your chest. 100% ugly. Yeah, that's what my ancestry test said. Just said 30% Nigerian, 100% ugly. Feel like I'm the only one here. I think Rolando might still be here. Maybe. I think he might be popping in and out. Oh shit! What did I just click? Oh no! what this means. Yo, do you see something changing over there when I click that? Oh, fuck. I keep clicking all kinds of wrong stuff. This is my key to go to bed. Chat. I gotta hit that ancestry to see what African I am. Yeah, you're probably like 30% African, bro. Nah, you the same ugly. Dickhead. We got about 4 minutes. Only got 4 minutes. What you know about that, Phil? You don't know about that, bro. You might be too young for that one. A lot of Mexicans have Filipino ancestry because of the Philippines. Oh, because the Philippines used to be a part of Vice royalty in Spain. You know, I got a homie that speaks Tagalog, and I know a lot of Filipino people, and I think that shit's hilarious, bro. All of the last names that are like basically the same, and they have a lot of words that are the same, like chisme. Chisme is the exact same thing in Tagalog as it is in Spanish. And just like a couple other things. But then they have a lot of other things that are nothing alike. There's the same word, but it's nothing alike. Like they got a drink called puto, and I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. The only thing I like, because the only thing singing I listen to is Zero. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I'ma come down. It's your partner Zero. Never been a hoe, never been abroad. Every night before I go to sleep, I gotta talk to God one time. I'ma keep it real. Got gold and diamonds in my grill. It says I'm descended from people who migrated to Spain from North Africa some 1,300 years ago. I guess it's from the Muslims. Fun fact, Rolando, if you didn't know this already, a lot of words in Spanish come from Arabic. Another connection that I made from knowing Arabic. But, I mean, it's not like a little known fact. Like, lots of people know it. But I remember, like, when I started learning Spanish, I'm like, oh, it's just like the same word. Uh, but basically, anything that starts with, like, AL in Spanish came from Arabic. There's a bunch of other words too, but AL for sure. Like, I can't really think anything. But for instance, like camisa, right? Like in Arabic, it's like khamis, and like I can't really think of the Arabic word for barrio, but it's like very close, like barrio or something like that. But yeah, a lot of words in Spanish came from Arabic. True, a lot of Spaniards don't like Muslims, but they use Arabic words every day. Facts. Most of Spaniard music comes from Arabic music too. Like if you really listen to flamenco or like um just a lot of their music, man. Like you will hear like actually a good example is there's a song that I really like, um, and whenever I play it on speakers, people are like, "Is that like you listen to Arabic music?" And I'm like, "It's not Arabic. That's Spanish, bro. That's Spanish." Dang, how's the song go? I can't think of the name of the song. But anyways, yeah, it sounds like that. It's got the same little Arab like. I really want to tell you the song before I get off of here, just in case you want to listen to it, because I love the song. But I just cannot think of the name right now. Oh, that's what it is. Ladrones de corazones. Why can't I find the actual song though? Oh, don't let me swing you. I lied. Just in case y'all want a new banger on your playlist, I'm about to type it right now. It's one of my favorite songs ever. Banger. Absolute banger, bro. And if you think it's not a banger, you're wrong. And I don't care about your opinion. So go ahead, copy and paste that. Listen to it. If anybody asks you where you got it from, tell them you got it from the GOAT of music. Yeah. It's an amazing song. It's good lyrics too. But yeah, if you hear it, you'll be like, this clearly has Arabic influence, just like most music in Spain. Honestly, the way they talk too. If you go to southern Spain, bro, like, uh, what they call gitanos, like, little bit different than what it means in other countries, but like those people are just straight up people of Romani and Arabic descent. Like, I'm gonna send this UK rapper. I'm gonna send this UK rapper sent it to me and send your songs. I feel like you typed whatever you were trying to type wrong because you're sleepy and you're old and it's time for you to go to bed, bro. And it's time for me to get off of here and go to bed. Because I went past the 152. This is how y'all get me, bro. Y'all get me talking about something and you know I can't drop it. You know I had to go Google that song, bro. I'm going to say this UK rapper sent it to me and send your songs. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, y'all. Make sure you copy and paste that song. Make sure you go listen to it. And listen to her other music too. It's all good. It's all good. Phil, I know you won't understand it, but I think it's pleasant to listen to, even if you didn't know the lyrics. She's got a nice little voice. It's lit. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your night, bro. Don't hold on. Let me not end the stream yet. Don't ever say that I'm older than me, bro. Goodbye.